Okay, I felt like I should respond to this particular video. This video is made by the individual who made what I thought was an excellent documentary that came out last year called Wild Man, My Search for Sasquatch. So you can see the title is Why Did Les Stroud Choose Todd Standing for Survivor Man Bigfoot? Mountain Beast Mysteries Episode 1.
One thing that always comes up in a lot of other videos I watch on YouTube, especially in like the comment section, is why Les Stroud chose Todd Standing to take him out into the woods to look for Bigfoot. And we all know that Todd is a very controversial figure in the Bigfoot field. There's, been many claims that he's hoaxed all of his footage and
Okay, they're not just claims. I mean, if you look at some of the stuff that he's produced, look at especially the one photograph, which I guess is still from a video of a creature looking not directly at the camera, but it looks like a doll. It has lifeless doll-like eyes, glass eyes. It does not move. It does not do anything. It just sits there. And I'll probably include an example of that in this video. Matter of fact, hang on just a second. And in fact, this is the photo I was talking about. I mean, take a close look at that. Does that look like an organic and natural face to you? It doesn't look like that to me. I mean, look at the eyes. They're like a doll's eyes. They look like glass eyes. I mean, that's just not a natural face. That to me is indicative of a model or perhaps a really good makeup job. Most likely a model, really. So you be the judge. Does this look natural to you? To me, it just doesn't look very natural at all. I mean, it looks like something you would see on a little kid's doll.
his photographs, and that you know he has family members in the film business. And despite
Well, he does. I mean, it's been well documented. Read Steve Cole's report about that on his SquatchDetective.com blog. He's got all kinds of stuff about that over there. So, I mean, there you go. That is what's going on with that. Steve Coles has documented all this. Well, not just him, but David Rodriguez, and there have been others that have documented all this. So this is nothing new. This stuff's been out there for at least a decade. So this individual, as much as I respect him and I enjoyed his movie, uh, I would encourage him to look into this a little bit closer. But even if he doesn't, he's a grown man. He can do what he wants.
being a suspected hoaxer, he does spend a lot of time in the bush, and so he's probably the perfect guy in Canada, to go out with Les Stroud, who's also a very experienced bushman.
Well, Thomas Steenberg spends a lot of time in the bush. I can think of others that spend a lot of time in the bush. The folks from Finding Bigfoot, um, when they go all around the country. The Mountain Monsters guys, even though a lot of that is staged, everything is staged on Mountain Monsters, but still, they get out in the bush. Does that make them any more credible? There's others that go out in the bush and look for Sasquatch. The guys from Killing Bigfoot. Does that make them any more credible? I think some of them are more credible than others, but still, I would, again, I would encourage this fellow to, do some research, do some basic research on Todd Standing. But that's just me.
The claimed evidence that Todd Standing has is very interesting, whether it be real or fake. And, if I was Les Stroud, I'd be very curious to know whether it's real or not. At this point, I just disregard all the video and photo evidence that Todd's come up with, but I do know that he's out in the bush all the time looking.
Well, I am glad that he disregards all the obvious crap that has come up from Todd Standing. At least that's a good thing. But he keeps talking about Todd Standing get out in the bush. Well, you can get out in the bush all you want. That does not mean that you have any more of a degree of credibility than anybody else. So, well, no, and that's just pretty typical. Um, but again, I would recommend this individual look into it. If he chooses to. Now, if he chooses not to, that's all right as well. Because, like I say, I'm not these people's papa. I can't force them to do anything they don't want to do.
for these creatures. So if anybody's gonna find Sasquatch, it's probably gonna be Todd Standing. If he
No, he'll most likely find a hoax first. I don't think he's going to be the one that finds Sasquatch. That's just not going to happen. I got news for you. Not going to happen. Matter of fact, I don't really think anybody's going to find Sasquatch. Sasquatch is going to find them. That's just how I look at it. If they can't find Sasquatch on finding Bigfoot, what are the chances that somebody stumbling around the woods is going to?
hasn't already, if the videos and the photos are fake, um, he spends a lot of time out in the bush and he is in the perfect area. I'm not saying Todd's photos and videos aren't suspicious, because they are. They're very up close and clear. The one where the Bigfoot blinks, it looks very mechanical to me and not natural.
Well, the one where the supposed Sasquatch blinks could very well be CGI and not necessarily mechanical. But point being, there's so much that there's so much suspicion around Todd Standing that it's really difficult to be able to discern what's real and what isn't. Now, could Todd Standing have one or two things that may be real, such as the video where it appears to be climbing up a mountain? And it appears that it looks very natural. There's one particular video that I've seen from Todd Standing, which looks pretty good. Now, does that mean it is CGI, perhaps? Now, that I really don't know. I cannot say for sure. But there is that one video of something going up a mountainside very quickly. Now, whether that's CGI or whether that's whether that's real, that's hard to determine. That one is undetermined as far as I'm concerned. But the rest of the stuff Todd Standing has produced, it's just BS, quite frankly.
It doesn't look like an organic being, and I'm sure most of you agree with me. From what I know about Todd is that he seems to fail consistently at reproducing his evidence when he takes people out into the bush. I shouldn't say evidence. What I should say is he fails to reproduce his sightings of Bigfoot, because when he's out by himself, it seems he always finds the creature and is able to photograph and video it.
And that is very suspicious. Why is it only he finds something? Why is it that when he takes others out there, it probably promises, oh, you're going to see one, or something's going to happen while we're out here, and then nothing winds up happening, and those individuals turn out to, I don't know, they turn out to realize that they've been took, as it were. I mean, then they realize that this guy is full of bunk. But yeah, it is very, very, very suspicious that he can't seem to produce anything when he takes others out with him in the field. I mean, that should speak volumes to a lot of people. People should realize, oh, wait a minute, this guy's probably full of crap. So, I mean, we're only 2.5 minutes into this thing. I've been stopping every few seconds to kind of, what do you call it, correct stuff.
When he goes out with other people, it's tree structures, sticks, footprints, that sort of thing. So he hasn't been able to take anyone else out into the bush and have an encounter. Now, there is one video that he put out where it's in the winter and you see a bunch of trees moving and snow falling off the trees, and it sounds like there's definitely other people there with him, but who knows who these people are? They're not. I don't know them. Nobody else in the Bigfoot community knows them, so it could be anybody. But people like Jeff Meldrum, John Bindernagel, like he wasn't able to produce anything significant for them that I know of. But despite the chances that these videos are faked, I still think Todd is on the right track and he's in the right area and he's out there a lot. So the
Well, I mean, he's on the right track to set up another hoax, if you ask me. I mean, I think it will be not too much longer before we do see him set up another hoax. I just, I don't believe that anything he produces, so called, is going to be worth anything, really. I just, forgive me if I have my doubts.
chances of him actually finding Sasquatch and filming a real Sasquatch are pretty high. I know I'm probably going to take a lot of flack for kind of defending Todd and defending Les Stroud's decision to go out with him, but I know.
I don't have an issue with Les Stroud because he is not really a Bigfooter, so called. He is not, he's not part of this community. He's basically a TV star and a survivalist. That's what Les Stroud is. He's not a poster boy for anybody in the Bigfoot community. He has said so. So he may not want to really know a whole lot about Todd Standing, or he may know he just perhaps is testing Todd Standing to see if perhaps um, if Todd has any credibility where that's concerned. I mean, even during the programs that he filmed with Todd Standing, he said he was very weary of Todd Standing. So I mean, Les Stroud knows what's going on. We'll just put it that way.
For a fact the Nordegg area is the best location, and I think more people should be out there looking. The good thing about Nordegg is that it is very remote. The area north of Nordegg, there's a lot of untouched forest. It's not like a popular tourist spot. A lot of people who are.
Oh, and by the way, I mean, you're not going to catch a lot of flack from me. Because you're a full-grown adult, you do what you want. But I'm just saying that I don't trust Les Stroud as far as I can throw him. I just as soon trust a man-eating tiger than I would Todd Standing. Wait, did I say Les Stroud? Oh crap! I'm sorry. I screwed up. No, I don't trust Todd Standing at all. I just don't. You know, I think I may have made a Freudian slip and said Les Stroud. My apologies, Les.
We're out on vacation tend to go to Jasper or Banff, and Nordegg is just in between. It's ignored. Based on what I witnessed during my filming of Wildman, um, the footprints we found, the handprints on the car windows, um, we've heard branches breaking close to our camp at night, which was very unsettling. I definitely believe there's something out there in that spot, and I think Nordegg, the area around Nordegg, especially north of it, is the number one location to be looking for Sasquatch. Now, a lot of people.
Now I don't dispute that. I mean, he actually went there when he filmed his documentary, and there is some stuff that happens there. You know, I'm not saying that there's no Sasquatches in Nordegg. There probably are. It's a really good area. It's an area where, I mean, something can live in perfect isolation for a long time and very rarely be seen. I'm not disputing that. What I am disputing is Todd Standy's claims and the claims that he has put out there. So I'm not disputing that nothing happens at Nordegg.
Would argue that the Pacific coast, like the northwestern part of California and into British Columbia, Vancouver Island, another big hotspot, people would say that that's the number one location. But I don't know, there's something about Nordegg that is just unique, and it's just beautiful and secluded. When I went out to Vancouver Island, I didn't really have too much activity at all. And when I was in Nordegg, the first night, things were happening. So the first night, the next morning, during the day, we found tracks. It was just consistent, and it was wild. So, because Todd Standing knows the Nordegg area and frequents it, why wouldn't Les Stroud choose him to be his guide in that area?
Now, that's a good point. I agree. If Todd Standing knows that area and if Les Stroud is unfamiliar with it, then yes, he can have Todd as a guide, but be very, Les needs to be very, very suspicious about anything that is found there, especially when Todd is around. But that's just my perspective on it. Again, he can do what he wants, referring to Les Stroud, but I would be very wary of anything that is found when Todd is close by. We'll just put it that way.
And, he's a popular guy in the Bigfoot world. So he's well known.
Uh, who exactly is he popular with? He's not popular with the credible researchers, we'll just put it that way, except for a couple. And I mean, Meldrum, I wish Meldrum would not be associated with him. I wish Bitternagel would not be associated with him. But I can understand where Bitternagel is concerned because, as I mentioned in my editorial on Facebook, I mean, he's an older gentleman. He doesn't have a whole lot of time left. He'd like to see one before he dies. So he feels like Les is the one to kind of give him that possible experience. And by the way, I'm going to do a follow-up response video to Todd Standing's video, by the way. This is not the first video I'm going to do about this. This video is going to go on YouTube and on Facebook. Both of them are actually. So, but I think the Todd Standing video will be much more perhaps, or my response will probably be much more comedic than this one is. So, because believe me, there's a lot of comedy in the Todd Standing return video, as it were.
It's good for TV. Not that that's a bad thing.
Now, that I won't dispute. It is good for television. I have to agree with him on that. It is good for TV to have this controversial individual on your show. I will agree with that.
Of course, if I make a video, if I make a documentary, I want people to watch it. So why not have a bit of controversy in there? There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there you go. Exactly. A little bit of controversy. I really have no issue with that. You gotta draw ratings somehow.
It raises questions and it gets people talking. So
To quote Eric Bischoff, controversy creates cash.
I don't think it's a bad thing that he chose Todd Standing, the most controversial person in the Bigfoot world. One of them. There's other ones out there like Rick Dyer. I honestly think if anyone's gonna find Sasquatch definitively, it could very well be Todd Standing. We'll just have to wait and see in the next little while what kind of content Todd Standing puts out. And, it could be crap and it could be.
Okay, essentially, he's essentially repeating the same thing he was saying earlier. So this seems as good of a time as any to end this video. But I wanted you guys to kind of hear my thoughts on this individual's video. And I respect this fellow. I thought he made a great documentary. And I'm not coming down on him. I'm really not coming down on anybody. I'm just saying that this fellow, if he chooses to, he can educate himself. But if not, that's okay too. But at least I can say I warned him. So anyway, there will be a follow-up video on the Todd Standing return video response later today. So I'll catch you guys later.